Hey,
We're
everybody.
a bit late
Yeah, sorry we're late.
again. Hi, Ruthie. Hi, Finn.
Bet you I can do that better.
Let's hear it.
So, yeah. Okay. World enough anywhere with you. By my side, halfway through love's day. We walk, watching as the time passes by. Love's enough as the waters rise on the sand, on the shrinking shore. We walk side by side with hand held in hand. Love's enough to fill up all our day. Only love's enough for us. Love's enough to help us wend our way, and it's in our love we trust. Time too short, we will never sing all our song. It's there among the leaves that change, sighing as the wind moves them on. Love's enough to fill up all our day. Only love's enough for us. Love's enough to help us wend our way, and it's in our love we trust. Love's enough, lasting through the hours of our day, hours that pass us by. These dreams, lovely as they fall, soft away.
Thank you. That was very beautiful.
You're welcome, honey. So where are we? Oh, good.
So we have people to say hello to already.
Yeah.
So hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Joined us. Michael, good. Glad
Hey, Michael.
to hear that you're alive and well.
Yeah.
I said hi to Ruthie and Finn. John Martucci. Hi, John. Hey, Craig.
Hello, John. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Wanda.
Wow.
Hi, Carol and Barry. Carol Duffy and Barry Edelman.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Barry.
Great to have you guys all join us.
So our second song is going to be a song called Fair Befall the Mountainside. And some of you who've seen us play this before heard me give this little talk before, so I'll try to shorten it. This song is meant to be sung by a group of men and a group of women in opposition, kind of like strophe and antistrophe in a Greek chorus. And the men are dressed in armor and they're about to go out to war. And the women seem to be enacting a kind of ritual. They came out all together and asked them, well, hi boys, where are you going? And the boys say back to them, well, we gotta go out and take care of the sheep. The weather's bad, no good out there. We're gonna bring the sheep. So they say, oh, okay, nice, but why all the armor? So they say, oh yeah, well, armor, yeah, well, wolves, sheep, bad, rain. It's just worse and worse and worse. So we figured we put our armor on. And then it's okay. Well, why the battle flag? Oh, that thing. It's just a little something I had lying around. And of course, the women know where they're going. The men know where they're going. It's a very serious thing. It's something they enact that's part of a Gothic ritual. At the end of the song, the men come back, and when the men come back, the women are waiting for them, and the women, of course, are dressed in armor. And there's a little mock battle, and the men win their women, and there are, as in any comedy, marriages at the end. So it's a great story. It's a novel called Roots of the Mountains by William Morris, who invented the fantasy novel, and he kind of invented the fantasy novel by writing about Goths. So you never know where a path is going to lead you.
And the music.
The music was written by a great friend of mine, S.J.Altman, who managed the Folklore Center and who is also a kind of a medieval scholar and was a big influence on me. Here we go, the song. Our kite are on the Iot still, the eddies lap them round. All dikes the wind-worn waters fill, and waneth grass and ground.
Oh, ride ye to the river's brim, in war we fare to see. O'er winter waters will ye swim, in hauberks to the knee.
Wild is the day and dim with rain, our sheep are warded ill. The wood wolves gather for the plain, their ravening maws to fill.
What is this, and what have ye? A hunter's band to bear, the banner of our battle glee, the skulking wolves to scare.
Oh, women, when we wend our ways to deal with death and dread, the banner of our fathers' days must flap the wind o'erhead. toileth many a maid, and ere the hay knee-deep hath grown, your grooms the grass shall wade. Then fair befall the mountainside, whereon the play shall be, and fair befall the summertide, that whoso lives shall see. Chair is getting creaky.
What? I think that was your bones. Your creaky old bones, no? Oh.
No way.
Yeah. Hey, Marilyn. Sorry you had
Hi,
trouble
Marilyn.
getting on, but we're glad you're here now.
Yeah, if there's ever a problem like getting bad sound or something like that, please let us know. Not that I want to go back to bad sound land, but boy, that was a
Yeah.
humdinger.
That was a mess to get out of.
This is for Cheryl's mom. Waters all the ferns inside the old bookstore. Emily, 1, 2, 3, dusts the books and sweeps across the oaken floor. There's nothing more. She grins at Mrs. Riley and she's out the door. Mrs. Riley watches till she's gone. Down the street, Emily finds the bank as oftentimes she's done before. Emily strains to see fingerprints on windows and the big brass door. Her special chore, although she cleans them every day, there's always more. The bankers laugh, she doesn't understand. Sounds of hungry engines fill the city street. She sings the only song she's ever known. She sings her Jesus loves me as she drags her feet. She sings her Jesus loves me. All alone. She sings her Jesus loves me all alone. Emily. Yeah.
Working on that harmonica part.
Yeah. So what do we got? The grain and whiskey. Okay, yeah.
So.
An old friend of mine named Jimmy Herbst once told me, or maybe actually no, it came from Jimmy. It was a friend of Jimmy's who told a friend of mine, Ricky Hornbeck, who said to me, "Kurt, did you know that the Wallkill River is the only river, one of 3 rivers, I think, in the continental United States that flows north?" Now, I really don't know if that's true. Maybe that's true and maybe it's not. Maybe there's only one. But just the same, Jimmy wrote about it, and he referred to the Wallkill as the northbound drifter, and I always like to let people know because I kind of lifted that from him, but I give him credit for it, and it was and he may have gotten, it's possible he may have gotten that name from an Indian word or something too, so that's all entirely possible, and I hope to see him someday and ask him if I hope he's still on the planet.
Well, this is another one of your songs. It's one of my favorites.
Do you have a choice?
I do. I have many favorites.
That's true. The grain and the whiskey. Soft-hearted woman with a taste for the bottle. I scorned her and drove her away. She just sat there drinking and dreaming of her north country so far away. The first time I saw her by the banks of my river, she looked like an angel so pure. My heart sprouted wings as it struggled beside her, and the oaths of young lovers we swore. By the banks of my river, through the green days of summer, through the orchards and vineyards we strayed. But at night in the taverns, we drank till we stumbled our own separate ways. As the years pass, it all seems sublime, where the river of myth meets the river of time. Is it all lost as it goes down the line, like the grain in the whiskey, like the grapes in the wine? To the land of her fathers, where the white water rushes so cold. But for her there's one river, that's the river of whiskey, that runs through her trembling soul. She works in a tavern by the banks of my river. I once stopped, she still looked so fine. In the face of a farm girl from some now different century, seemed lost in a river of time. Sometimes when I'm lonely, I walk by the river. That old northbound drifter rolls by. My eyes glimpse a bottle that floats on the water. I remember that girl with a sigh. As the years pass, it all seems sublime, where the river of myth meets the river of time. Is it all lost as it goes down the line? Like the grain in the whiskey, like the grapes in the wine. Like the grain in the whiskey, like the grapes in the wine. Yeah.
Hi, John T. Walsh Jr.
Hey, it is. Hey, John.
I only have to say your full name like that because Joe Giglio does. We watch his show and you
Yeah,
go on.
another great show today from Joe Giglio.
Yes.
We encourage you, if you're around on Sunday afternoons. Of course, you're around on Sunday afternoons.
Where else would you be but around?
Usually at about 2 o'clock. My good friend, I've known Joe for more than half my life, actually. Now that I think about it, isn't that amazing? And Joe's a jazz guitarist who does a lot of songs you'll recognize, and he does them, in his great jazz guitar style. So it's fun to listen to Joe play and sing. So that's at 2 o'clock on Sundays, and you can just go to Joe's Facebook page. His name is Giglio. It's spelled like Giglio because it's an Italian name. Did you know I was half Italian, by the way?
Who, you?
Yeah. Enrico.
I don't think so.
Oh well, my mother was purely Italian.
Anyway,
and her father
Joe
came over on a
Giglio.
boat. So Joe Giglio's name is spelled like Giglio, and listen to Joe on a Sunday afternoon. It's great. We a lot of times just put it on our phones and run it through the house stereo. So it's the sound of Sunday afternoons in our house, and I think you'd enjoy it too. And then on Tuesday night, don't forget my friend Craig Ellis. He's on Street Jelly.
StreetJelly.com.
Good. So
Tuesdays at 7.
So this next story is called William's Guitar, and it's a song that I wrote after we visited John Burroughs' less famous house. Slabsides is the famous house, and the other one is called Riverby. And in the back of Riverby, Burroughs had a shed where he kept his library. And when the new owners bought it, this is about 12 years ago or so, bought it, they opened it up, and there's still ashes in the fireplace, books lying open on a table. It was pretty fascinating to think that that's where Burroughs had done his last research, in that room, and that was almost as if we were walking into a time capsule. So I wanted to write a song about Burroughs, but there are things about Burroughs I also object to. He was kind of suck up to the rich in some ways, and so we won't get political about that. But one of the things I looked for were books by William Morris in his library, and they weren't there. And if they were, Cheryl was going to have to handcuff me. So anyway, we escaped, and I came home and wrote this song. It's called William's Guitar. And there are other people in it besides John Burroughs. William is an amalgam of John Burroughs, of my late friend John Harold, a brilliant man who used to live on Spillway Road called Peter Sinclair, who could make anything with his hands. He was a remarkable man, and who also knew his art history. And Pete Seeger, a little bit of Pete Seeger in there. So here it goes. You ready, Don?
Mm-hmm.
This guitar belonged to my friend William. This guitar no longer sounds so good. hands were stained from the indigo and madder, roots and walnuts, webbed yellow, shell and cochineal. Never coal tar, never any lights for color. His tapestries showed free men in their fields. He built his cabin about a mile from the highway. He wove his hangings, he made birds of wood, clay and stone. He built his guitar, then he took it down that highway. He sang of love, though he mostly sang alone. He toured the towns with their rivers fouled by factories. He sang out loud to the women who labored in the mills. He sang about the dead men in their coal mines. His voice rang clear through the hollers and the hills. This guitar belonged to my friend William. This guitar, it no longer sounds so good. And when I hold it, there are times I can see him. The frets are worn, there's no finish on the wood. About the bitter fruit of violence, sang out loud. And we who heard him, I think we were the truly privileged. We heard his message, working people, we will rise. I'm gonna sing it, I'm gonna sing it for the future. I'm gonna put it in the hands of Eddie Deer. He'll fill the cracks, change the frets and fix the action. We'll bring it back to the forests and the fields. This guitar belonged to my friend William. This guitar, it no longer sounds so good. When I hold it, there are times when I can see him. The frets are worn, there's no finish on the wood. That's new.
Yeah, nice new ending.
Okay, time for a couple of poems.
Yeah.
So, how do I pick poems?
Can we hear you from all the way over there? How does he pick poems, he wonders?
I pick poems because something's on my mind. And lately I've also, after having done this for almost 2 years, I'm beginning to realize that some things work well when you read them out loud. And people who aren't following along with the paper, or dropping the paper, it's hard. It really is hard. I know when I hear a piece of text, I often need to see it. So I've got a couple poems today. I was thinking today, one of the things I heard somebody say today is that, as you probably know, slavery in England ended 32 years before it ended in the United States. And that came up this week because of the Queen's funeral, and somebody on this side of the ditch had flung over the idea that slavery was pretty much a British invasion. And in a sense, it was. The African Trade Company, I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact name for it, was formed specifically for going over to bring Africans to, to the Caribbean area, to, for sugar cane and so forth. But so they're talking about reparations and how how black people in England also wanted reparations. And it came up that somebody got reparations. Reparations were given to the slave holders who got the reparations. Now, interestingly, that money was borrowed and then paid off in time. People paid interest on that loan to pay off slaveholders until the year, are you ready for this? 2015. That means that people of color were paying, through their taxes, money to descendants of wealthy slaveholders. Insane. So that kind of got me going on the sense. So I wanted to find poems that I liked, in the sense that they're easy reading and maybe a little easy listening, but profound, really profound with the message. So I chose a poem by Maya Angelou, and probably I'm sure a lot of you have heard this one, and the most famous one by Langston Hughes. The first one is called Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with a certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling. I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrous clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise. This next one is very famous. It's called Harlem, and I think everybody read it in high school. I know I taught it in high school. But it's kind of interesting. It has been said about the poem, and I'm not 100% here, but it has been said about the poem that it's kind of a concrete poem, that the structure of the poem reflects the meaning of the poem. And the poem talks about what happens when justice is put off and put off and put off, and there's no justice. There are consequences. And it begins to weigh heavily on people, and it may make them depressed, it may make them sad, it may make them finally, in the end, explode into a riot. And in the shape of the poem, as you can see, I've marked it up with this pretty bad thing here, but you can see the top. Maybe you can't make it closer. You can see the top line of the poem, where it says line 1, and you notice the poem hangs from it. Seems to hang from it, as if the poem has a certain kind of weight. And at the end of the poem, he actually uses the word sags. So maybe that is true. It is kind of a concrete poem. But anyway, here it is by Langston Hughes, called Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust over, sugary sweet, like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. or does it explode? Harlem, Langston Hughes. I had the pleasure of meeting a friend of Langston Hughes who was at the Sutton Nursing Home in Kingston. I used to do canine therapy there. And he was a brilliant man. He worked in the post office, but he had studied literature at Fordham. His name was Arthur Drayton. No, not Arthur Drayton. Yeah, maybe. And he was a wonderful man. He had really bad Alzheimer's. He'd get up every morning and read the New York Times, and then like 20 minutes later read the New York Times kind of thing again. Mm-hmm. But he could recite little bits of Shakespeare, and he could recite little bits of Langston Hughes, and he told me that he knew Langston Hughes. I believe him, because he was telling the truth.
Okay, now you have to go far away and get your guitar. So while you do that, I'll say thanks for joining us. We really appreciate having you with us. If you are watching and you haven't dropped us a line, just drop us a little note to let us know that you're there. And we'll get back to all of you later.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's see, is there anybody? Don't see any other names on here that I haven't said hello to already.
Wow. Trucker's Nightlife.
Ooh, Trucker's Nightlife. Yeah, I'm not ready. All that. All of that. Okay.
Driving down the thruway, barely looking where I'm going. I'm sitting here thinking about the love I used to know. I see the lights shining lonely in the night, against the night. I drive this rig alone each night while you are home in bed. When daylight comes, I toss upon those words that I once said to be free. Ah, gentle sunlight, shine on me, shine on me. And I'm driving this here rig from up New York to Virginia, down past the place I once called home. And I wonder if you ever think of that rambling boy who's going nowhere, just rambling on alone. So that's my trucker's nightline. I know it ain't the best. I'm looking to that morning when your sunshine gives me rest. I drive on till the gray clouds echo dawn, echo dawn. Someday I'm gonna quit this job, find a better life. I'd like to sell this rig, buy a farm, and find a smiling little wife. But it seems you give meaning to my dreams, all my dreams. And I'm driving this here rig from up New York to Virginia, down past the place I once called home. And I wonder if you ever think of that rambling boy who's going nowhere, just
haven't done
Who's
that
on
one
the
in
guitar?
a long time. Truckers Nightlife. Not even with the band, I think.
Honey, would you mind grabbing my tuner off the other guitar so I don't have to unplug it?
It's on the Martin.
It's on the wall.
Oops.
Thanks. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, Cheryl, why don't you tell them about, remind them about Joe or CDs perhaps?
Sure.
Do a quick-
We mentioned Joe Giglio's show earlier, but I'd love to mention it again. You can check out Joe Giglio live on Facebook on Sunday afternoons at 2 o'clock. And then you can also check out Craig Ellis, who's also joined us tonight. He has a show on streetjelly.com at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. You can also go to our website, kurthenry.com, or Dog Nose Band. It's dog Knows, dognoseband.com. And we have some CDs. We have a lot of CDs, actually. We have all of these CDs on our website. And if you make any of these purchases, we will match the price and send that money off to our local food pantry.
Okay,
Okay.
great. This is called Julia the Complete Angler. There was a book called The Complete Angler. It was about fly fishing. So some of the imagery in the song comes from fly fishing. I'm gonna spin my circle around you. Soon you'll be holding me tight. We'll be lovers long before dawn. I know where you're going, and baby, I'm coming. Okay. Our last song for the evening is a song called River of Stars. And it goes a little like this.
You guys know this one.
Let's get a sweet tone. Carry on. Our river of stars. We're here alone in waters unknown. Baby, turn off your phone. You got no one to talk to. Moon so new. We're out of view. If our anchor slips, we'll just have to drift. I lock on your lips. You can leave your phone on. Leave your phone on.
I'd like to note that you're what I'm floating my dream on. I'd like to note that you're what I'm floating my dream on.
Drift all night. Still out of sight. Past Manhattan asleep. We'll drift out to sea. If the water gets deep, you can turn your phone on. Turn your phone on. That's my favorite part of the song.
Well, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your company.
Always a pleasure to play for you.
Yes, and we will be back next Sunday.
Yes, we will. We absolutely will.
Yes.
So, I believe this is Joe's favorite part.
This is
The
Joe
hashtag
Julio's
part. This is
favorite
the
part. So here comes Joe. Hold on to your seats. And here we go. Oh, and Judy, in case you watch later. Hi, girly. Hi, Judy. Okay, we just wanted to get that in. We're so grateful you could make it. What nice friends we have.
That's the truth.
That is the truth. Check out our website, kurthenry.com, dognoseband.com. Check out our Kurt Henry and Dog Nose page on Facebook, the 9 Mile Swamp on Facebook. Be kind to your friends and neighbors.